What's going on, YouTube? Eric Bauer, back again, your intrepid host. One more time here on the YouTube channel. What do I have today? I don't really have much in the way of an agenda. I'm just going to talk about some shit that I've been listening to a whole lot over the last few weeks. A lot of it's not even new. Most of it's not even new. Actually, there's maybe one or two things that are kind of new. So it's not really a pickup video. It's just, you know, hey, what's Eric listening to? And I'm here to tell you. It's some stuff. Now, if you hear some music in the background, it's this. Dance Society demos. Fucking great shit. I'm not really going to go into much detail about it because I'll probably talk about it in an actual update video. That said, I guess we're just going to jump right the fuck into this business. First thing I want to talk about today is the album Immigrant by Gene Love's Jezebel, released by Relativity in 1985. It's a very basic set. In fact, the J card is so basic there's not even anything on the other side. Doesn't matter. It's not about the packaging in this case. It's about the music. What do you get with Gene Love's Jezebel? It's a project featuring Michael and Jay Aston, who were pretty prolific in the UK scene, early 80s. Gene Love's Jezebel often gets kind of lumped in with like the early 80s goth rock sort of sound, a little bit of post-punk in there, which is fair, but it's actually a bit more glam influenced than I think a lot of the goth or post-punk that was coming out of the area that they came from at the time. Anyway, this album's just freaking great from start to finish. There's not really a bad cut on here. It's not as good as the first album, but it's definitely got a lot of earworms on it. Check it out. Underrated, really underrated. Good shit. Next thing we're going to talk about, briefly, is another album that's really fucking great. That is The Mission UK with their album Children. This came out on Mercury in 1988. It's like their third or fourth record. Right before they dropped the UK from the name The Mission. And this is a little bit more of an involved package. Not that, again, that matters. You know, are you coming here to see the packaging or hear me talk about the music? If you just want to look at shit, Discogs is your place. As far as this band goes, it consists of Wayne Hussey and Craig Adams, ex-Sisters of Mercy. So you'll hear some callbacks to early Sisters of Mercy sound on this album. But they really come into their own on this record specifically. I want to say it's their earlier material is a little bit more derivative, not in a bad way, just in the way that you would generally expect for tunes of this nature. This is a great record though, and usually I have a rule where I really fucking hate covers. I don't know what it is. I used to like them when I was younger, and now they just kind of fucking put me off. I think typically it's because they're poorly chosen. In this case, they do a cover of Dream On by Aerosmith, and that's like kind of like 2 points against them in theory. However, in reality, the cover of Dream On here is pretty fucking excellent, and it's not really distinguishable from the rest of the tracks. Like, it fits perfect with the track listing up to that point and after. It's great. There's some really good tracks on here. Beyond the Pale is fucking fantastic. Heaven on Earth, Tower of Strength. The last track, Hymn for America, that song is awesome. This album's awesome. It's another one that's like the Gene Love's Jezebel. Super underrated. Most of the early material, again, super underrated. And I really recommend it a lot. I'm stoked about it. Can you tell? The next one should be something that at least a good portion of you are familiar with. It is Ashes by Christian Death. And this is a repress put out by Season of Mist in like 2015. Decent tape shell, you know, pro printed, pro pressed as they say. And this thing has the biggest fucking J card ever. I can barely read the shit that's on here because, you know, old man. It's nice packaging. Ashes came out in 1985 originally on Nostradamus Records. It was the third Christian Death full length, which followed up Catastrophe Ballet. I believe that's the title. Definitely not my favorite. When you look at the first two, it's always going to be only Theater of Pain. This is the last album with Roz doing vocals. After this, he kind of, I don't want to say he was kicked out, but he was more or less kind of forced to the wayside by Valor and Jatan Damone. Is that how you say her name? Jatani? I don't know. Anyway, they kind of pushed Roz to the wayside. He left. He started his own thing using the Christian Death name. So the discographies got kind of confusing there towards the late 80s into the early 90s. I like some of the Valor shit. I'm not going to lie. Fucking Atrocities and The Scripture, I think, are both pretty good albums. When people talk shit about them, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I like them. They have that really great post-punk goth sound that Christian Death is known for. It just doesn't have the poetry or atmosphere that I think Roz Williams brought to the band, which is unfortunate. But Ashes does. It's a fantastic record. It's got a lot of high points. I don't want to really just kind of dwell on which cuts are great and which cuts can be skippable. Don't skip any of them. Listen to the whole thing. It's fucking great. Next album we're going to talk about, it's a little bit of a departure, but I've been listening to this a lot. Bowie, Diamond Dogs. This record came out in 1974. It was his 8th studio album, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a great tape version. There he is, right there. And this is a great picture, too. Anyway, Diamond Dogs, 1974. It's the first album that Bowie did without Mick Ronson, who put out Slaughter on 10th Avenue the same year. Now here's a funny tidbit. Some of you may know it. Slaughter the Dogs, great pub rock, oi, English punk. Took their name from Slaughter on 10th Avenue and Diamond Dogs. This album's fucking great. It's pretty divisive amongst Bowie fans regarding his 70s material. It's not my favorite of Bowie's 70s output. That'd probably be Low. That album's fucking amazing. This album's no slouch, though. And it's not as... I don't want to say it's not as glammy or as like bombastic as a lot of the other stuff that was coming out at the time by like Slade or The Sweet, even the New York Dolls over in America. I'd compare it to like what T-Rex were doing around the same time, or Mott the Hoople and Mick Ronson. His Slaughter on 10th Avenue has a lot of similarity to this record, but I think it lacks a lot of the drive, in my opinion. Some people probably argue that I'm wrong with that, but I don't agree. I think this is a great fucking record. The radio hit on here, of course, is Rebel Rebel. If you are not familiar with that song, you've probably been living in either a very deep hole or under a rock, or you just don't like music. It's awesome. This record rules. It's a super cohesive thought piece. It's pompous. It's got a lot of bluster, and that's those are a couple of things that really make it stand out. Diamond Dogs. If you don't have this in your life, you need it. It's fucking excellent. And the next thing we're going to talk about today, I pulled this out after the video that Matt from the Dark Path did with Marty Worm, talking about Fields of the Nephilim. This would be Dawn Razor, which I love Fields of the Nephilim. Of that early material, this is always the one that I'm going to pull out when I want to listen to them. Beggar's Banquet put this out 1987. I first became familiar or aware of Fields of the Nephilim when I saw the movie Hardware in 1990 in the theater. And Carl McCoy, who is this gentleman right here, has a very brief role in that film. And I thought, that guy looks fucking cool. And waited for the end credits, found out who he was, found out that he was a musician, that he had a band, and that the band happened to be this. At the time, I was listening to a lot of like Sisters of Mercy, Early Cure, Skinny Puppy, shit like that. So this was like a no-brainer. I had to get into it and fell in love with him. It's awesome shit. Great, great record. Trying to find a place to put it. Set it. Balance beam. Got a balance beam act going here. Can't show it to you, but it's trepidatious. So, moving on. This one has really been high on rotation as of late. The True Sounds of Liberty with Beneath the Shadows. Originally released on Alternative Tentacles in 1982. This is the follow-up to actually that record right there, Dance With Me. And this sounds almost nothing like its predecessor. It was reissued by Burger Records in 2015. That's what this copy is. I picked this up super cheap, right around the time that it got reissued. It's a very basic J card, but I really love that cover art. It's fucking great with that clockwork orange lettering on the top. Love it. As far as the album itself, you got Jack Grisham on vocals still, so you kind of know what to expect there. He went by a different name on this record, but it's him. They added Greg Kuhn on keyboards, which they did not really sport a lot of on Dance With Me. Very prominent on this record. Kind of like, so if you were to say take The Damned with Neat, 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 and then contrast that with Machine Gun Etiquette, it's kind of what you get with Beneath the Shadows compared to Dance With Me. And it's just a really great, fun record. It's got a lot of gothy overtones, but it's always upbeat and punky. They kind of lost all of that political hardcore edge that they had before Dance With Me, and that's another era of TSOL that I really love as well. But I don't know, man, something about this record makes it really probably my favorite of those first two full lengths. It's fucking awesome. And if you've disregarded checking it out, thinking that it can't be as good as Dance With Me, well, give it a listen. Maybe you'll dig it. Maybe you'll dig it as much as I do. Because for my money, it's the better of the two records. Now that said, last tape we're going to talk about, this would be Joy Division with Still. And yeah, that's a parental advisory sticker on there. I don't know why. I've had this for some time and I've never been able to really figure out why that's there. It's not really any notable profanity on this cassette. Basic J card, but this album is awesome. It was released by Factory Records in 1981. It's basically a compilation of B-sides, singles. There's some live cuts on here. You've got a really rare live version of Ceremony, which would go on to become a New Order song, sung by Ian Curtis. This was all, this was released posthumously, of course, but all the material on here is Ian Curtis, obviously. And this album, it's not fucking Closer or Unknown Pleasures, but it's awesome. Mandatory. If any of these tapes are mandatory, that one for sure. So I got a few records, 2 or 3 that have also been making the rounds on the table. Let's take a look, shall we? The first one. This is the first Gun Club album, Fire of Love, originally released by Ruby Records in 1981. This version is a 2003 Munster press, if that matters to you at all. This is a great fucking album. Got a nice printed inner sleeve. I do have the record in here, but it is in a plastic sleeve, an anti-static plastic sleeve to protect it from the inner and the dangers thereof. What is the Gun Club, you might ask? This band's come up a few times on the YouTube circuit recently. High Rant District talked about the second album that followed this up, and Pat, Ground Zero Salem, he did that pickups video from what he got in Florida, and he had a couple Gun Club items in there. This record it's awesome. It's hard to pigeonhole into like a single genre because it's way more than that. You'll hear callbacks to bands like the Cramps or TSOL even. You'll hear callbacks to shit that sounds kind of like 45 Grave. But there's like underneath all of that, like, I don't want to say fun punk, but like dirty, like graveyard punk. There's a lot of like swampy, like attitude, like southern. It's like a southern feel, southern vibe that's really hard for me to describe, to put into words. It's just one of those sounds like there's a band I talked about several years back on here called the Dreadlords, who kind of evoke that same sort of sound. It's like almost like a Delta blues vibe to the punk rock on this record. It's really great. I would put it up there next to the first Cramps album, for sure. 45 Grave, no problem. It's that same sort of just like, if you're in that rut, it's definitely going to scratch that itch for you. It's killer. And the next record we're going to discuss. I'm not even re-sleeving on camera. Go me. Lords of the New Church with their first LP. Now, this came out in 1982. IRS Records. This is kind of a partied on copy as far as the sleeve goes. The record itself, perfect. No complaints. You got the old school IRS logo on label. Don't know if you can see that very well, but it's cool. This record is awesome. If you're not familiar with Lords of the New Church, it's kind of a super group. You got Stiv Bators from the Dead Boys. He died in 1990, 41, the day after my birthday. And yeah, I was bummed because I was really into the Dead Boys when I first started getting into punk. And from the Dead Boys, I came across Lords of the New Church. Also has fucking Brian James of the Damned, Dave Traguna from the Sham 69, and Nicky Turner from Barracudas. So a stacked lineup. And if you're into any of the bands that these guys were in prior to the Lords, you should know what to expect. It's just trashy, loud, glammy, gothy punk rock with a rock and roll attitude. There's a, I can't think of the record, but on the back of the record there's a photo of the audience while the band is playing on a stage, and one of the guys in the front row is wearing a t-shirt that says kill a punk for rock and roll. That's the kind of attitude that like I feel like these guys kind of eschew on this album. It's fucking awesome. Every track on here is great, especially New Church, Apocalypso, Holy War is awesome. Little Boys Play with Dolls, that track is probably the cut on this record. Just fucking great. Get into it, as Jason Hook might say. The last record we have to talk about is another good one. It's the Cassandra Complex with Death. This is their second LP, and it is a live LP. That's a pretty gutsy move when you make either your first or second LP a live one. But this one, it fucking rules, man. It's another band that's really kind of hard to pigeonhole. It came out in 1987. Play It Again Sam Records. This band was active into the 90s, and their sound evolved basically with every album they put out. The first album, Grenade, is kind of like, and it bleeds over into this because, like I said, this is a live album. It's got most of Grenade on it, as well as some of the stuff from the singles that were coming out prior to the release of this record. Double LP. How to describe Cassandra Complex? It's like if you kind of take like the electro punk of early Cabaret Voltaire, and then kind of like combine that sound with what people were hearing from bands like Fields of the Nephilim, or even some of the more metallic Sisters of Mercy or Cindy Talk type stuff. That's what you get with this record. Funny enough, some of these guys would go on to form the Utah Saints, who sound nothing like this. In fact, Utah Saints were a common source of derision for a lot of us back in high school. So it's ironic that I would come back around to this album, but it's great. I can't not recommend this in good conscience. Look for it, check it out, pick it up. It's fucking awesome. That said, that's my stack. That's what I've got to talk about. That's what I'm going to leave you with here today. Now, I did tease something on the community tab of the channel, which was a contest because I recently broke 2,000 subs. And it's not that big of a deal in the long run. I know for some YouTubers out there, that's just like a fraction of what they've got for an audience. For me, it's kind of a big deal. Like, I never imagined 2,000 people would want to tune in and listen to what I have to say or what's on my mind or what I'm into. So the fact that there are is pretty humbling. I'm going to do a contest. So there will be another video coming up within the week. I'll have the details ironed out for said contest. And yeah, I'll announce it at that time. It'll probably be just like a collection update later on in the week. Don't know when. I'm not going to give you a concrete date because chances are if I do that, it's going to be late. Now, that said, side A of this Dance Society record ended. I'm going to leave you right there. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Thanks for engaging me in the comments and carrying on the conversations that we have over there. It's fun. It's one of the reasons why I do this. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. Later.